Welcome to the Toffee Blues Extra Show, your midweek extra source of all things Everton. And we're back this week, and I'm with Ben. Welcome, Ben.
All right.
Yeah, we're lucky enough to have Ben with us on the show this week, freelance writer. So doing well this week. We've got a new guest, and really looking forward to speaking with him. And we'll start with the Tom Davies segment. Yeah, we're going to talk about Tom Davies because he got brought off at half time against Lincoln. He's not been in the best run of form this season. I think he's been played in primarily in the defensive midfield role, which maybe doesn't suit him as well. I know a lot of people prefer to see him in the number 10 role, maybe a backup to Gylfi Sigurdsson. Where do you see Tom Davies' role, Ben? Where do you think he fits in best?
It's a good question because I feel with Silva, his preferred formation is this, 4-2-3-1. He did dabble with the three at the back, but it just showed how, even though we lost 6-2 at home to Spurs, and he realised then maybe we need a bit more, protection at the back, he was very quick to then move back to a back four against Leicester. So therefore, would you play a 4-3-3? Would you play a 4-2-3-1? I've always felt Davies is better with two midfielders items to help him out. So if he is playing with just, say, one, you can really see at this level, maybe he's just not quite at the required standard. The thing is with Tom is that, does he get you enough goals? Is he creative? Is he destructive? Does he provide the protection? I feel like he's been given quite a lot of opportunities because of the fact players like James McCarthy's been out injured, because Schneiderlin's had his problems. So there hasn't been the pathway in the way. He's had a clear pathway into the first team. But, bringing him off at half-time against Lincoln, it felt like that was Silva saying he can't take any risks. He did feel like, the FA Cup is a priority this season, and he could see the way the game was going, and he just felt, right, I need to bring on my first choice. Obviously, Andre Gomez started brilliantly for us. He's someone that we'd love to sign permanently. But he's had a couple of shaky games recently, maybe because of his illness. So that was why it kind of made sense to bring him out. But with the game and the balance, you can kind of understand why he took him off.
Yeah, definitely. I think we needed to kind of grab control of that midfield battle, because that's where we were being pressurised, and we needed someone with a calm head rather than, I think Davies overran his press a couple of times and left his position uncovered, and I think that's what screwed it over a couple of times in terms of defensive midfield. We needed to grab back control of that midfield battle, and Silva knew Gomez would provide that. Unfortunately, immense at the expense of Tom Davies. But this is a lad who's been nominated for the Golden Boy. Surely he's got something. There's been talk of him going out on loan, but I'm sure a lot of the other Golden Boy nominees aren't being loaned out to lower league sides. Do you think a loan would benefit him?
Well, obviously Silva's said that he's the present and the future of our club. He clearly rates the player. He's in the first team squad. He's categorically said that he won't be going out on loan, but a lot of fans can see that it could benefit him. Like, you've looked at the way that Kieran Dowell perhaps has benefited from it when at least the first half of last season at Nottingham Forest, and obviously he's been allowed out because we've got players in those positions. I feel like with Davies, does he need to be playing regularly? Yes. He played he started the game against Tottenham recently, and it just felt like he was trying too hard. You looked at the performance of, say, Harry Winks on the opposition team, like he was basically playing the same role as Davies. Obviously, he's surrounded by world-class players, but he just kept things simple, never looked like flustered on the ball. And there were a few times when it felt like Davies just needed to take that extra second, which, if you think about it, in the Championship, you don't really get. In the Premier League, there are times when teams cede possession and just give themselves a breather to then go again. In the Championship, and you've seen in the games in the FA Cup this weekend, they get up and they get physical and they get at you, and you just wonder whether maybe the game against Lincoln was a little window into what it would be like if Davies was playing for, say, a Championship team. Would he actually benefit from it? Is he the type of player that would benefit from a more physical league?
Yeah, I think he could be a physical player, but he needs the platform to really be able to show his talents without being pushed too far, I think. So I agree with you in the way that he might be better staying at Everton, and considering that we probably do need a backup for Gylfi Sigurdsson as well, because now that we've loaned Kieran Dowell out, we don't really have a backup on the bench for that Gylfi Sigurdsson role. Is that a role you can see him playing long term in the number 10 role for Everton?
I wouldn't say so particularly. No, I think he's more of a number 8 who can, be the penultimate pass before the assist, if you like. But obviously he's got Euro 2019 as well this summer to come. So you can see why people at St George's Park and they want him to be playing more regularly. There's been talk about him going to Celtic. Maybe that would be a good move. But in terms of in the long term, there is that discussion of what is Tom Davies? Is he someone who now needs to decide what he is? Does he want to become more of a goal-scoring midfielder, someone who could kind of play in a defensive position? I still think we're none the wiser. I still feel like he's finding out for himself what his best position is.
Exactly, I'd agree with you there. I'd consider maybe whether a loan out would possibly help him determine that, like what kind of position he is. But I suppose you could try and find that at Everton even, because he is a little bit like we've kind of been endeared to him because of his work rate at Everton. Like Evertonians always appreciate someone who works hard, and that's what Tom Davies is. And I think he has been used a little bit some of the time to plug the gaps, as you mentioned before, like with injuries and stuff like that. He's come in and he's been needed, and it's over the past few years he hasn't really got a break from that. As soon as he's been put in the first team picture from quite a young age. What was he, 17, 18 when he first came in the side, and he's been in there ever since, kind of to plug some gaps when there's been injuries and things like that. And he's never really been given a break. He's been thrust in there, and he's never been given a chance maybe to get to like nail down really his position and things like that. But how is he going to find his best position, do you think?
I mean, you're looking at the games now, and he's obviously got the priority being the FA Cup. We've got Millwall at the end of this month, I think. That's a kind of game again where I'd expect Tom to be given time, and he just needs to basically learn from the quality that's around him. Someone like Andre Gomez, who's been at such fantastic clubs and he's technically brilliant, they're the type of people that you want Tom to learn from. Obviously, James McCarthy's coming back. We still don't really know if he's going to be the same player. He obviously wasn't trusted against Lincoln. Going back to the idea of whether he could go out on loan, if McCarthy was to show in the next couple of weeks that he is now ready to be called upon, then maybe there is scope for a loan to someone that fits Tom Davies' style of football in the Championship. But as it stands, I think Silva's right to keep hold of him.
Yeah, definitely. I think we need him within that squad at the moment, and he's getting on the bench week after week, and he's getting in the team even sometimes as well. So I think it would be a bit harsh to send him out on loan because he's not being cast out like the likes of Holgate has. Like Holgate didn't get in the squad for quite a while, and that's why he was eventually sent out on loan. But Davies is needed in that squad, as Silva's confirmed. So in the end, to sum it up, really, I don't think it is much of a conundrum because Silva's kind of settled that already in his press conferences, as you mentioned, by saying that he's not going to be loaned out. He is the presence and the future of Everton Football Club. So I can't see him being loaned out really because Silva's relying upon him.
The other thing as well is that if you look at the average age of the team, what Silva's really looked to do in his first summer, in the summer transfer window, was to bring that average age down. Whereas when you had at the end of Kuma's tenure into Allardyce, he was buying players for the present, and you had players who were aging, and so you can understand why Davies was getting picked. Now, if you look at the average age, it's kind of like younger than 25. So if you then were to put Davies into that team, it all of a sudden becomes even lower. So there's a game against Huddersfield earlier in the season, if you remember, a game we really should be winning. And Davies was playing in that team. It was just a young team, and the way also we were chasing a game against West Ham, I looked at the pitch and I thought, you've got a side there who's battle-hardened, experienced, and I was looking at Everton thinking, what do you really expect from players like DCL chasing him? They're a young team, so in a way, the fact that we've now tried to bring the average age down, that's been at the detriment for Davies.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, I think it has. Yeah, we've seen a couple of occasions, as you mentioned, possibly inexperienced at times, and that's probably not helped us. So I think that Davies can be a little bit erratic at times, and that he's kind of needs to sharpen that side of his game. But I suppose that will come with game time and experience on the ball, and that's only obviously going to come if he's playing football, and hopefully in the future that will be Everton. So let us know in the comments what you think about Davies, because a lot of people have got different opinions on Tom Davies. But in terms of Silva, I think we know that he will be staying put. But if you think differently, then let us know in the comments, and I hope you liked the video as well. Make sure you give us both a follow on social media. Our handles are below our pictures. And thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for watching, and please join us next time on the Toffee Blues.